Crowds.
Much more than just a grudge match at stake here. Both fighters in their early 30s, both coming off recent losses. The winner of this fight can make a strong case to be in a title caliber fight next. The loser may not get another shot at getting it. Round one underway. Two massive heavyweights here in Bakole and ajagba, and you're right, Chris, that this feels like one of those, the winner moves on in the heavyweight bracket type fights. So two red flags about Bakole. One is, how did he bounce back from that second round knockout? I know there was only one punch, there wasn't a lot of wear and tear, but this is a quick turnaround. The other is the weight, 299 pounds. Martin Bakole tipped the scales at. Now that's less than the 310 he weighed for the last fight, but it's 15 pounds heavier than what he was against Jared Anderson, which was one of the best performances of his career.
We're going to see the effects of that last fight once he gets hit by that ajagba right hand, which is his favorite punch. Big right hand, he stays at a distance, he sets it up behind a patient jab. That's how we're going to find out where Bakole's at in this stage of his career.
You know, Sergio, both these guys are uppercutters. They both are into throwing that uppercut. Ajagba will throw it with both hands. Bakole likes that rear uppercut. They love throwing that punch.
Head moving.
Don't uppercut with an uppercut. On the outside, it's all ajagba, and that's where he should be. You know, behind that long jab, he has that leaner frame. They're both the same height, but you can see that the mass is with Bakole. So just touching him downstairs to that soft belly would open up a right hand over the top. But you have to be very patient, of course, very careful with a guy like Bakole.
Yeah, and of course, that's the formula, Chris, that Michael Hunter used to defeat Martin Bakole years ago, and Bakole's promoter, Ben Shalom, has talked about maybe orchestrating that rematch if Bakole can get the victory here tonight. I get the sense that Bakole wants that rematch, take the blemish off his resume. I'm not so sure Ben Shalom wants that. He may have eyes for bigger and better things for Martin Bakole. But I go back to that fight against Jared Anderson, which started a little bit like this, with Jared Anderson just pawing at the body of Martin Bakole. Then the last 20 seconds, Martin Bakole lands a big punch and puts Anderson on the deck.
Yeah, Anderson got a little bit too confident and stayed still for a little bit too long. And that's what ajagba is not doing. See, he's moving around the ring. He stayed a little bit against the ropes right there, but he has the distance, and he's keeping his range in between. As long as you don't get too close to Bakole, you're going to be all right.
Just slowly trying to creep his way forward here, looking for an opening to unleash one of those shots, maybe one of those drive-by uppercuts.
Yeah, guys like that, you can just outpoint. You know, he's giving you rounds like this. You can just keep touching the body, keep jabbing upstairs, move to your left, move to your right. Just do not stand still in front of this guy. And I love the fact that he alternated the jab for a 3 right there. He led with a hook just to land that right hand.
Nice right hand there from ajagba as we close round one. Rounds are the better for ajagba as Bakole offers up a left hook there, caught by the right glove of ajagba. Ajagba opening up a little bit here. There's a good right hand that landed right at the end of round two. And Chris, as you pointed out, this isn't an unfamiliar pattern for Bakole fights where there's kind of a lull, it's very quiet, and then before you know it, there's a very large man shaking his hips in the middle of the ring because he just scored a knockout victory. Yeah, it looked like Jared Anderson, first round, on his way to an easy 10-9 round. Martin Bakole landed one of those kind of clubbing shots to change the fight. He is one punch away from changing the dynamic.
Yeah, guys like Bakole, you can outbox, but you got to be smart enough to know that that's their strategy. You know, they're going to lose rounds to just set up the big punch, the big knockout. Ajagba should, you know, I'm sure he did his studying and knowing that this man, he's a silent killer. You know, he's one of these guys that just waits for that right shot, the power shot, and he sets it up with jabs like that. Long arms.
So very few fighters have so much power without really stepping into those punches. I mentioned George Foreman. I'd put Vitaly Klitschko on that list as well. He just gets such pop off what is largely an arm punch. Ajagba corner asking for a few more feints here as Bakole picking up his activity here in the second round, at least relative to what he was doing in round one. Starting to jab his way in, touching the body there of Ajagba. Nice long-range right hand there, just grazes Ajagba.
It's funny, Corey, that we're looking at Ajagba as the boxer in this fight, since Ajagba came up as a heavy-handed guy, scary guy with power in both hands.
And you'd have to think that Ajagba will have to really lean on that athleticism in this fight. If this fight is at distance, it's good news for Ajagba. And if that is what he needs, it's good news for Ajagba, because his former strength and conditioning coach, who he was working with in Houston, Danny Arnold, who also trained Jadeveon Clowney, said that Ajagba compared favorably in athleticism to an NFL defensive back. That'll do it for round two. Better round for Bakole.